on this computer. What did everyone think of the word guessing game? There's a couple of ways to solve it. How was it initially reading and writing, or reading from a CSV file?
That took a long time. Initially pouring over the code, trying to figure out exactly what we needed to replace, and actually it ended up being relatively simple. It was just the easy, medium, and hard words. That's all you had to replace.
Right. Yeah. All right. So I forked it to my personal GitHub. I'm going to clone it. Let's see what I got. Lima. So I'm in my Lima challenges directory. I'm going to git clone word guess game. ls cd into word guess. I'm going to open this up in its own directory and inspect kind of what we have. So we have this word guess, and then we also have this words.csv file. So let's just go through the README. The goal of this exercise is to refactor the included word guess py file to include the words from the included word CSV. If we run Python 3 word guess to start the game, choose a difficulty level, and then try and guess the word. So let's just run through a quick demo of it. So I'm going to just run this. Oh, what did I just do? So I'm going to come in here, run Python 3 word guess. Okay, this can be an easy, medium, or really hard. I'm going to do easy. A, E, I. All right, so I, T, oh no, O, U. So we have U, F. Where are some other U's? B, G. So yay, I guessed it because I can already kind of guess. I can already see the words I have to choose from. Pretty straightforward. So, and this is a good time to kind of talk about when you initially go to your first job, you're more often than not going to be already working in an existing code base. So half the time is just understanding the code base and the flow of logic of what methods call what and everything. So when you're coming to word guess, you already have this application set up and you kind of don't know how it works yet. So it's good to just follow the logic flow. You can either, test it like I just did and go around and see where things are being printed out. Or since you already kind of know how classes work and in the flow of when like the methods are called, you can kind of come in here and be like, okay, word guess game, here's our file. When I run this file, I'm looking down, okay, so word guess is invoked. When you initialize a new word guess instance, you always run this first whenever it's invoked. Okay, it looks like it takes in an argument or a parameter called debug, and its initial value is false. And then the self debug, so that's an instance variable. We assign it to this default value of false if nothing is passed in, which currently nothing is passed in. And then we have these other instance variables, okay, all right. And then we have this self.mode, which invokes this self.mode method. Okay, so there's this method called self.mode or set mode. So I'm gonna go down and look. So right when I invoke this should execute. So I'm gonna go down here to set mode. I don't necessarily know. Okay, here it is. So this executes. So we have a while mode, we have a mode that's an empty string. It says while mode, not in this list EMH, which is easy, medium, hard. We assign another variable. We have this input. This can be easy, medium, or really hard. So that prints out the screen for the user right here. That's the first thing that gets printed out. So it takes in a user's input and then assigns it to this variable mode. So easy, medium, hard gets returned. The E, M, or H gets returned from the set mode. So if we just go up, back up to the init. So init, set mode should be easy, medium, or hard. Then it comes into here, self.word, random choice. All right, we have the random library, grabs a random choice in the self.words. Okay, where is that? Okay, this is this dictionary. And the self.mode is E, M, or H, easy, medium, or hard, which is the key. So, okay, so it grabs a random word, a random choice from these words, whether it's easy, medium, or hard, and it sets it to that self.word instance variable. Another thing, it says self.guesses equals self.tries. So we have self.tries. So it looks like we make tries. So yeah, it takes the value 10, 6, or 4 for how many tries you have based off of whether you selected easy, medium, or hard for the mode. And we have a user word, which converts the length of the word that was randomly chosen and like makes it all like the dots down here. So that's what this user word. And then we have self.guesses, which keeps track of the letters you've guessed. We have if self.debug, which so if this is true, we print the word. But right now it's currently false. And then it says, okay, print you have this many guesses, guess the word, join user word. Let's see what that looks like. That's another method. Join user word. So user word is okay. So it looks like that returns, does that return? Oh, that replaces, doesn't that replace like this? Where is it? Like this part? All right. Play turn. So, and then we also have this start, that's first turn method invoked inside the init method, which ask for a letter. Okay. Come down here. There's probably another method called ask for a letter right here. So just follow the flow, and you can also demo it to see, like take it one step at a time to see what is invoked first. So a lot of time in your first job is literally just running your application and seeing the flow of the logic flow of the data. But for this, the requirements, we have these hard-coded choices. We want to replace this with what's in our CSV. If we look at our CSV, it looks massive. But I remember going over it yesterday, just wanting to reiterate that it's actually, in fact, only 3 lines. Do I have a toggle breakpoints? No, that's not it. How do I get it to toggle word wrap? So it's really only 3 lines. The first index, index at 0 is whether it's easy, medium, or hard. Oh, it's starting to. All right, cool. All right, so update the program should read the CSV and select a random word from the appropriate difficulty level. So how can we do this? From yesterday's lecture, we ran through how to read from a CSV file. How do we want to read it? Do we want to read it? Because I know there's the dot reader, which returns everything in a list, and there's also the dict reader, which returns everything into an ordered dictionary. So we have a dict reader and just a basic reader. What do we want to use for this application?
The basic reader. You want list form?
So we want to use the basic reader. Why is that again?
Because you could pop off the first value, which would be your your difficulty level, and then the remaining array would be your words,
Okay.
which you can assign as a key value pair.
Yep. Where do we want to execute this? It can be executed outside of the class. It can be executed inside the init. Where do you want to run this and read from the CSV file?
Tom, sorry, a quick backup question.
Yep.
In choosing between reader and dict, like my perception is like, when I think of a dictionary, I think of like a long list of key value pairs. So basically just like 2 columns and so then that would kind of point you, this is more than 2 columns. So that would point you, that's why I said reader, but is that a good logic train?
I would say if the CSV file has headers that are associated with that value in that column, that's when
Right.
you would use a dict reader. But when you just have just like a basic CSV file with no headers and there's not a whole lot of logic behind the order, you can use the reader.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, that's a good break point. Thanks.
So where should do we want it in the initialize method or do we want it up here? We can have it down here. Does anybody have a preference?
We put ours after basically in the init, but after the self.words. And what we initially did was just put self.words as an empty dictionary. So we basically erased all of that, and then we declared self.words an empty dictionary. And the next one we did was we just to make the code a little bit cleaner. What we ended up doing is putting all of that into its own function called update words.
Okay.
And then we called it, right after we declared self.words as an empty dictionary.
Okay. Yeah, you can definitely put this into its own method to make it clean, a little more cleaner. But for right now, I'm just going to keep it inside the init right now. Just this whole logic. So I literally just copied this from the lecture. First thing I need to do is import CSV because CSV is a built-in module in Python. So it goes with open, and now we need to, where is this located at? We don't want NFL teams, we want words.csv. Words.csv as, I'll just say words. I'm going to change the name of this. You didn't have to. Words CSV file. Okay. So with that, I'm going to just run this to see what happens. So with open, I'm opening the words.csv file. I'm assigning to this this words_CSV file. I'm accessing the reader method that's in the CSV module, and I'm passing in this words_CSV file. I'm assigning that to a variable called CSV reader, which is, if you remember what this looks like, it's literally just a reader object. So if I print CSV reader and I run this, so it's just this reader object, and then it executes the application normally. So I can actually just exit out of it, clear. So I'm going to uncomment that. So I can, for row in CSV reader, print the row. I'm going to run that and see what it looks like. And then I'm going to actually, oh, you can't. Scroll up. Give me some space. Yikes. So it literally prints the 3 rows and then it starts the application. Exit it. So with that, I actually want to assign that a dictionary is like easy, followed by all the easy words. I'm gonna actually go another line, followed by medium, followed by all the medium words, and hard, followed by all the hard words. That's like the structure I want. So we already have this empty dictionary. So how do I access the first element in the row, which represents the difficulty level? So right here, I'm printing the entire row. And if the first element in the row represents the difficulty level, I just want to print the difficulty level. What should I type? How do I access that
Row of 0,
row? How do I access the 0 index? Just
square brackets.
square brackets row. So I'm going to print that out and see if I can get the easy, medium, hard to show up. So print. All right, MEH, cool. So now I have access to the easy, medium, and hard difficulty level. Now, how do I assign it? Because we want to assign it to this self.words. We want to create the key easy, medium, hard. So how can I do that? Can I do like self.words row 0?
We created a reader and then called CSV.reader of words.
Say that again. Created a reader.
We called the reader, and then we said reader equals CSV.reader, and then we called in words through that to get the first the row, and then we did a for loop to look through it.
I don't think I quite understand. So how did your code look differently than this, right? Like,
I was just looking through it. Sorry, it's the same exact thing. Sorry, just the terminology threw me off.
okay. So in order to assign a key to a dictionary, I can do like row at 0, and I'm going to equal, let's just look at this, equal some value. I'm going to print, like after everything, I'm going to print self.words. So I should have easy, medium, hard as a key, and then all the values to that should be a string. So I'm going to clear that down there. Self.words or Python word guess game. So here's my dictionary. I have medium, some value, easy, some value, hard, some value. But the some value doesn't, it should be an array. So if I want it to be like row at index 1, so I've got medium, xylophone, E is dregs. I don't even want to pronounce that word, and hard. So I'm grabbing the first word I'm grabbing the word at index 1. So xylophone, or whatever that is, dregs, and this word. How do I grab every other word in the list?
You do the array slicing. So at this point here, you just put a colon after the 1.
Colon,
And
followed
that's
by what? That's it?
blank. Yep. Unless you want to do every other word, and in which case you do colon 2. So it'd be 1 colon 2 would give you every other word in the list.
Okay.
But if you just want from 1 to the end, it's just 1 colon.
So if I wanted the first, what is it, 1 through, is that inclusive or exclusive of 7?
Exclusive.
So if I wanted the first 6 words, I go 1:7. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you're saying if I wanted to do from the first index all the way to the last index, I just do 1:. I've seen people also do like length of row. But let's see if this works. Clear. If I do Python words. All right, it looks like it printed like the self.words is up here. We're assigning easy, medium, hard as a key. And then within that row, starting at index 1, all the way to the very end of that row, fill it in as a list. Does anybody have any questions about how this is assigning the easy, medium, hard as a key to this dictionary, this words dictionary? And then also the value is the value at index 1 all the way to the length, all the way to the end of the list. So we can actually try it out. So I'm not printing anything anymore. So now the game should work as expected. E, A, oh man, E, I, O, U, B, R, C, I don't even know, P.
Cairo.
Is it Cairo? Oh, no. So if I wanted to see the word, I can always pass in true as an argument, because right now it's debug is false. I can set debug to true. It should show me the word. So I can do word guess game. I'm going to choose hard. It says your word is electroblasting. That's a pretty cool word. E-L. And G. There we go. So does anybody have any questions on how to read from the CSV file from like the reader and specifically this word guess game?
One other just kind of methodology for getting to the end of the array, we put -1 at the end, 1:-1.
Let's see if that works.
That should give you everything except for the last value.
That's what I was wondering. Okay.
Yeah, it's
So that goes 1 in from the end of the list.
we can actually test it out. Jeebus. So that length, and then if we do like print self length, self dot words at E, that should equal, does that make sense?
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, so I think this is the easy one. And if you, looks like it's -2, right?
It's off by 2 because the very first value is the difficulty.
Oh yeah,
And then
sorry.
the second one is where you drop off the last character.
Yep. So yeah, so it is dropping off that last index value.
Roger.
But in the grand scheme of things, if you're missing one word out of 1,600 something, like it's not that big of a deal.
It's a really good word, though.
Yeah. Still works. Cool. So there. So now you have all of them. So you're just missing the word or the letter for easy, medium, and hard.